Just in time for the fall season comes Candy Catcher, a new holiday-themed Atari 2600 homebrew by Grant Steinman. Available through the Atari Age forums, it comes in two variations, a limited edition retro cartridge release, or a full boxed version with alternate artwork. Is this new homebrew worth checking out? Well, let's take a look. Like most games from the Atari days, Candy Catcher is a score-oriented game that's relatively simplistic in nature. Candy falls from the sky and the goal is to catch as much as possible while avoiding the little yellow robot that roams the bottom of the screen. For every piece of candy that falls into your Halloween basket, you receive 10 points. A point is lost if any candy misses you, and if it hits you instead of your bucket, 5 points are deducted. If the robot happens to run into any candy, you lose 10 points. If you manage to skillfully stop the robot though, you receive 15 points. Be careful though, because if the robot touches you first, it's instant game over and there are no continues. Visually, the game is basic with a plain black background and solid single-colored items making up the rest of it. Each object on the screen is easy to pick out though, and it's simple to tell what each item is supposed to be. I especially like the little robot and his humorous animation as he struts across the screen. Much like the visuals, the sound is also basic. Different tones sound for specific moments, for instance, successfully catching a piece of candy, or failing by either the robot catching it, or it falling on your head instead of your basket. All in all, it still gets the job done. Movement and jumping is actually pretty responsive and precise, so it should be pretty easy for anybody to pick up and enjoy Candy Catcher right from the start. My only complaint with the game is that it can be a little too easy. Even with the robot speeding up after each stomp, it's not very difficult to avoid him while continuing to pile up in the candy. Part of the reasoning for this is the robot plateaus at a very specific speed, leaving the difficulty to stall with it. Even after just a few games, I found that Candy Catcher lacked the element of chaos that you find in many other popular score-oriented 2600 titles. Some will see this as a good thing, but I personally find myself zoning out after a few minutes of play, completely losing interest. Flipping the difficulty switch does set the game from easy to pro, but the only difference I notice is that the robot reappears faster after stomping him. One other minor issue is the constant on-screen flicker, something that doesn't really get in the way of gameplay, but it can be a little irritating on the eyes. So, despite these issues, is Candy Catcher still worth picking up? Well, I find that solo Candy Catcher is still a fun game in short bursts, and the Halloween theme easily makes it a natural to bring out during that specific time of the year. I've also found that it's a fun little game to bring out with friends and family that may not necessarily be hardened or skilled Atari players. Overall, Candy Catcher is a simple yet solid effort that's worth having in the collection. Considering this is Grant's very first video game, all I have to say is, keep them coming, man.